Hello, everyone. This is Suzanne at the Gospel Truth. Today is Tuesday, August 13th. Wow, this month is just zipping by. These months are just running away on us, aren't they? And it's been great enjoying each day and learning to live in the present, not to live in the past, and not to jump ahead to the future because it's not guaranteed. Our next breath is not guaranteed. So we really need to get the most we can out of each and every day. I am glad to report that I'm doing better. My knees still hurt. They give me a problem, but if I take my medication at the right time, I do a lot better. We've been enjoying life a little bit more. Ron suffers with his migraines usually half the day. And then usually by 2 o'clock-ish, he's ready to get up. They start letting up, and he's ready to start his day. And we are planning to go camping. We haven't had a vacation at all since Ron and I got married about, I think it's been 13 years now. We were married in 2012, I believe. So yeah, it's been a while. And we had a lot of health issues when we first got married. I had several surgeries. Ron had a back surgery. He had a lot of different health issues too. But we decided that we want to go camping for a week to get away. And my daughter is going to loan us her pop-up camper. In fact, they're taking it one step further. They are going to find a good place for us at the campgrounds. Kevin, her husband, is going to go and set up the camper. Get everything just set up for us. All we have to do is step into it. And we're looking forward to that. We are going to take Sam with us, so it will be an experience with the dog. But we are excited and looking forward to getting away. We're probably going to do it like a Monday through Friday. And then my daughter and her husband will come up on Friday, and they will finish up the weekend, probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So they'll have another little getaway themselves. So we are definitely just so excited about it and thinking about the things that we're going to be doing and doing a lot of walking on the trails with Sam, maybe meeting some other campers, blessing some people. It will be fantastic. So we're really thrilled about this. All right, we have been studying from the book, Keep the Faith, How to Stand Strong in a World Turned Upside Down. This has been an excellent study. Several of you have expressed your gratitude for this study and how it is helping you. It is helping me as well. All right, we were talking about doubt, and the last time, yesterday when I came on, and we talked about how to disarm our doubts, and now we're going to talk about dealing with doubts. John 20 brings us into the presence of history's most notorious doubter. You have any guess who that might be? Think about it. His name was Thomas. The Bible often refers to him as Tom Didymus. Many people assume the meaning is Thomas the Doubter, but it means Thomas the Twin. Didymus travels down through the years and comes to us in the English language as ditto, double. We have no idea what happened to Thomas's twin, but we know he was often in two minds, which is one definition of doubt. Being in two minds. Definition of doubt. You might want to write that down. It makes sense. He was the classic skeptic, adamantly unwilling to accept anything on simple hearsay, not without razor-sharp question or two. I tend to do that. I tend to ask a lot of questions. And sometimes that can be very irritating for people. But in doing so, I feel I get more clarity, I get a better understanding, and I can really get at the truth of a matter. Perhaps in our time he would be a lawyer, But there was a touch of melancholy about Thomas as well, a bit of the pessimist. I had a friend, well, we have a friend named Chris, young man, probably in his 30s, late 30s. Our dogs play together, and he was telling my husband the other day that he said, man, he said, I got shook big time. And Ron said, well, what happened? He said, well, in Toledo, which is probably an hour drive from here, somebody had advertised an electric bike for sale for $500. And this bike evidently was decked out. And that would have been a super great deal, because those bikes go for $1,000 and over. And this thing was in pristine condition, and so he wanted it. He's been wanting an electric bike for a long time. So he sent the guy $200 deposit to hold it for him. The guy gave him the address. He headed down to Toledo. When he got there, there was no such address. He was scammed. Anytime anybody asks you for a deposit ahead of time to hold it, sounds kind of fishy to me. Not knowing, how do I know this person is honest? And it's like, well, you know what? If you sell it before I get there, so be it. I'm not going to send you money. How do I know this is not a scam? Usually if it sounds too good to be true, it's too good to be true, isn't it? Okay. Thomas. Okay, but there was a touch of melancholy about Thomas as well, a bit of the pessimist. You and I may not have placed him on the short list for Jesus' executive cabinet, but the Lord selected Thomas as one of his closest friends. Perhaps he needed a tough-minded disciple, as all our organizations do. And isn't that true? You need some really tough-minded people to get the job done and to be on alert to possible scams, to possible liars, cheaters, to question things. That's a good thing sometimes, to question things. I wish we had time to review all the references to Thomas in the Gospels. One would have to suffice. It was that unforgettable table evening when Jesus and his followers met in the upper room for their final meal, recorded in John 14. Jesus was gently preparing his disciples for the suffering and tragedy to come, and he said, in essence, you know where I must go, and you know it must happen. Thomas was the first with a reply, which we might paraphrase as, Lord, we have no idea where you're going. How would we know something like that? Skeptics don't buy into subtlety and ecliptical references. Subtlety. They're lovers of straight talk, clear words, and hard answers. I tend to be that way. Like, just talk clear, no big fancy words. Keep it simple. Help me to understand. That's the Thomas of the Scripture. Practical, skeptical, taking nothing for granted, but not unbelieving. Thomas went everywhere the 12 went. He saw and felt and heard all the miraculous events. He knew who could walk on water, who could raise a dead friend, who controlled the very winds of the storm. Surely the life of Thomas had been transformed along with the rest, but still he doubted. Do you find that strange? He saw all those things and still he doubted. We've seen a lot of things. Do we still doubt? We've seen the evidences. We've seen God working in people's lives, but yet those little doubts creep in. We can have faith, see miracles, and still have questions. As a matter of fact, the thinking believer will only have his questions increased when the miracles flow. The defining moment in Thomas's life is found in John 20. For Peter, that moment came at a fish fry, and when Jesus forgave him and sent him out to change the world. But for Thomas, it happened here, in the room where the disciples had huddled together, the room that was entered in fear and departed in faith. This is the room where doubt was overcome and skepticism was left in awe. Let's enter that room now and learn the timeless secrets of doubt and belief so that we can keep the faith even in our most discouraging of seasons. Doubt develops in isolation. This is the first one we're going to cover. John 20:24 gives us the key to the passage. Thomas had missed the fireworks. Jesus had appeared in the midst of his friends, showed his wounds, and pointed toward the future. Great joy and celebration had broken out in that room. Jesus alive? Could it be true? Yes, for he was right there in the flesh. But Thomas was not, and this is a significant point. 10 men gathered together in the custom of the bereaved. When someone near to us dies, we rendezvous at someone's home. We bring food and gentle laughter and words of consolation. Solitude isn't recommended, for we need the encouragement available in the intermingling of our spirits. But Thomas, independent thinker that he was, had drawn apart and missed not only the consolation but also the miracle. Doubt flourished in the dark. It's a bit like those mushrooms that grow in damp cellars. It thrives in the cold, dank loneliness of the human spirit. In solitude, the questions seem larger, more ominous, more hopeless. Where was John the Baptist when he began to question the very content of all his own preaching? He was in a dark cell, away from the throng, there in the dungeon where the mushrooms grew. Darkness feeds doubt. Daylight has a way of dispelling the worst of it. Have you ever noticed on dark, dreary, overcast, rainy days, and the house gets darkened inside, and it's like you have to turn on lights, and it's daytime? Doesn't it make you feel uncomfortable? Doesn't it make you feel a little sad, a little downcast? That's why doubt is a wise occasion for examining our feelings. Sometimes our questions have less to do with theological enigmas than with simple case of the blues. Our souls and our bodies live in such close company that they tend to catch each other's diseases. Physical illness dampens the soul, and emotional depression causes bodily fatigue. C.S. Lewis admitted to struggling with doubt while he was on the road in some inn or strange bed. He loved his home and his circle of friends, and absence often brought on a fit of soul vertigo for him. Stay connected to people, and you're more likely to stay connected to your faith. Wow. Stay connected to people, and you're more likely to stay connected to your faith. You know, in these days where we have the internet, we have iPads, we have computers, we have ways of communication, way better than when I was growing up in my young adulthood. And if you stay connected to people, you stay connected to your faith. You're much more likely to do that. I know when I take Sam out for a walk and I greet other people and I see other people on the trail. Hi, how are you? God bless you today. Oh, is this your dog? Yeah. Can I pet him? Oh, sure. You know, and just that brief encounter with people, it does wonders for the soul. You're out there, you're living, you're doing things, you're connecting. And when you're doing that, you don't have time to sit around and be moody or depressed. So if you get those feelings of doubt and become moody and depressed, get up, start doing something, whether you feel like it or not. Vacuum, dust, go for a walk, get in the car, go for a ride, whatever you need to do to pull yourself up out of that. Doubt demands evidence. True doubt never turns away from facts, wherever they may lead. It stubbornly pursues the truth. It's Galileo's questioning that the world is flat. Chuck Yeager insisting the sound barrier is no barrier at all. Thomas requiring a handling of the evidence. Those are excellent examples. True doubt never turns away from the facts. Questioning has brought about great results. Great things have happened because people stood up and questioned. So he said to them, unless I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe. John 20:25. Consider the doubter's perspective. When Jesus had drawn up the group itinerary, Thomas had spoken against going to Jerusalem. As he saw things, it was simply too dangerous a place to visit. Jesus would die, and perhaps the disciples would die with him. Sure enough, his direct predictions for Jesus had come true. If only they had listened to Thomas, master of the worst-case scenario. Skeptics draw a melancholy satisfaction from the words, I told you so. Oh, it's so tempting to use those 4 little words, I told you so. You know, sometimes you have to be careful when and how you use that, because when people are kicked and they're down and out, sometimes saying, I told you so, is not such a good idea. Maybe, well, yeah, this turned out pretty bad, didn't it? What can we do with this mess? We can turn this mess into good. We can learn great lessons from our mistakes. We can grow, and we can go on not to make the same foolish mistakes. Now, when the disciples were elbowing one another out of the way, shouting over one another to tell Thomas the incredible news, for we all love trumpeting the pessimist, how did Thomas respond? Just exactly as we'd expect. He recited the skeptic's creed. I'll believe it when I see it, he said. As a matter of fact, scratch that. I'll believe it when I feel it. You'll forgive me for not taking your word for it. I'll make my own evaluation if it's not all the same to you. Oftentimes that's a good thing to do, is not take everything at face value, to question it, to touch, feel, taste it maybe. Not a bad idea at all. Also with that though, once we have found out that it is true, to relent and say, wow, this is really true. I've questioned this, I've touched, I taste, I felt, wow, yeah. Doubt goes right out the window. Just as we love chastising Peter for failing to walk on the water, regardless of whether we would have stepped out of the boat, we're all too ready to condemn. Isn't that the truth? A lot of times in the evening we'll watch TV, and Ron likes to talk at the TV at some of these shows, and sometimes I have to remind him, if you were in that exact same situation, you would act differently. It's easy to be in your living room, nice and comfy, and criticize things that are going on in some of the shows that we watch. Or criticize other people. Right away we see somebody homeless, and we want to, well, it's their fault, they're homeless. Why don't they get up off their butts and get a job? You have no idea what that person's been through, what they've tried, what they haven't tried. You know, we shouldn't be ready to judge so quickly. Thomas simply, so we stepped out of the boat. We're all too ready to condemn Thomas simply because he insisted on validation. At least he was honest. He called it as he saw it. He never called the disciples' claims impossible. He never ruled out miracles. He simply wanted to test the evidence personally. As we'll see, Jesus met Thomas at the point of his questions. Ask God with an honest heart. He'll always answer you. Okay, we're going to stop right there. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about doubt draws us back to Christ, and doubt deepens our faith. And then we'll see at that point if we want to go further. I'm trying to keep these to about 20 minutes long for us. I could sit here all day and read the rest of the book. It's just that good. But I think digesting what we've studied today and remembering this key point, ask God with an honest heart, and he'll always answer you. No question is too hard or too big for our God. He's heard it all. He's seen it all. And God is very loving, very forgiving. You know, he sees us in all our infirmities, and yet he still loves us because he sees something in us that was worth saving, that was worth his son dying on the cross for us. God wants a relationship with us. He wants us to draw near. He wants us to question. He don't want us to be like little lemmings and follow each other off that mountain. It's okay to have doubts, but along with that, be responsible. Ask questions. Don't be close-minded. Don't make up your mind and then sit on it. If new evidence is brought forward, look at it. Mull it over. You'd be surprised how many times you change your mind. And, you know, in these days when there's so many scams going on, like my friend Chris got caught up in, I almost got caught up in one a few weeks ago, but something in my spirit was telling me, no, no, no. It was, something showed up as a fraudulent charge, and they said that, oh, you have to go to Amazon and get 3 gift cards, and, you know, and then send them to yourself or something. It was really weird. And when I got done with the conversation, I said, you know what? I said, why would I buy 3 Amazon gift cards of $100 each and send them to you? And then you send them back to me. I said, you're going to disappear with my money. He said, oh, no. And, you know, of course, I hung up on them. But you have to be so careful. They're getting slicker and slicker and slicker. If it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. All right, everyone, you have a blessed day in the Lord. I have to take the dog out for a walk. And then I have to run by the pharmacy to pick up some scripts. And then see what the rest of my day brings. I'm just taking it one step at a time with my days. I know things that I need to be doing. Sometimes I don't I don't do the things I need to do. Sometimes I get caught up in other stuff, but yeah, it's great. It's great to be feeling better. It's nice to look forward to camping. I know it's going to be a little tough on us, but that's okay. I don't want to sit on the sidelines anymore. I don't want to sit on the sidelines just concentrating on my chronic pain issues and not living life. I'm thankfully not in a wheelchair. I'm not so incapacitated. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not so, I'm not to the point to where I can't get up off the couch. I can't, you know, do things that I like to do. I can deal with the pain and learn to live with my chronic pain issues and say, hey, yeah, this hurts. You know, I'm hurting right now, but I don't want that to define my life. And do everything I can to rise above that and live a full, productive life for my husband, for myself. For top priority is living a Christian life and be pleasing to God. Taking care of my husband, taking care of the dog. You know, whatever my hands find to do, do it heartily and do it unto the Lord. And I think if we practice that throughout the day, a lot of doubts and a lot of anxieties will just vanish. They just will vanish. All right, well, you all take care. You have a most blessed day in the Lord. If you would, please press that like button for me. I know sometimes you can only have time maybe to jump on and listen to this, and then you have to jump off and get on with your day. That's fine. Please just hit that little thumbs up button for me. That gives me an idea of, you know, how many are actually watching and viewing my channel. And I would really appreciate that. And thank you to those that do leave a comment. It encourages me. It uplifts me. And I just think so much of each and every one of you. Take care for now. Lord willing, I'll be back on tomorrow with our next lesson on doubt. Take care.